Works much better than the last one.
Okay, good. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm John Sweeting, Senior Director of Registration Services at ARIN. And I'm going to talk about specified transfers. So this is the 8.3s and 8.4s. It said there'll be nothing to do with the merger and acquisition 8.2 transfers during this talk. A lot of this is repeat from what I presented on Sunday at the tutorial. Overview, talk about what is a specified recipient transfer, statistics, who can participate, transfer requirements, the process and fees, and we'll throw in a little bit about pre-approval and the specified transfer listing service, and then some tips and tricks. I don't know if they're tricks, but they're tips. Okay, so what is a specified recipient transfer? That involves a transfer of addresses that are typically unused by the person that is holding them to an organization that has demonstrated the need for them. It includes transfers within the ARIN region and also the inter-RIR transfers to currently with AP, NIC, and RIPE. The details are, of course, in the NRPM under 8.3 and 8.4 for the inter-RIRs. Here's a little chart on the numbers that are completed per month. As you can see, the inter-RIRs, they've gone up a little bit, but they stay somewhere between 10 and 20 a month. The process has gotten a lot better, although today it's currently all manual and involves a lot of emails back and forth. There's a transfer log that's being developed and will help with that manual process. But I'm not quite sure exactly when that will be put into effect. 8.3s, you can see during the holiday season, November, December, they kind of went down a little bit, but then they shot right back up in January and February, and we expect to see at least above 120 a month going forward. So who can participate in these processes, these two different transfer processes? Current ARIN IPv4 holders can participate as the source of addresses, either within the region or with the 8.4s to RIPE or AP NIC recipients, and also then the organizations in need of the IPv4 addresses, the recipients can source from within the region or from AP NIC or RIPE region. So the requirements for a source, the addresses must be registered with ARIN. They can't be involved in any dispute. So we work very quickly. If there's a dispute that comes up, we have to work very quickly to resolve that dispute. That sometimes can happen. That sometimes can't happen and takes a long time. But we just can't take the chance of transferring something that there's more than one organization out there claiming the rights to. So we have to go through all the documentation to make sure we get that right. It's very important. They must not have received IPv4 transfers from ARIN or via a specified recipient transfer in the past 12 months. And they cannot come out of the special reserve pools for critical infrastructure, which is covered under 4.4 of the NRPM, or for the IPv6 deployment, which is 4.10 in the NRPM. And for a recipient, you have to show the justified need based on your 24-month projected usage. Okay, documentation required for a source, verification that the current registration is in good standing, all fees paid, and that they are the authorized organization for the IPv4 block. If there's previous merger acquisition, then that hasn't been recorded, hasn't been updated in the registry, then an M&A transfer will be required before the organization can transfer under 8.3 or 8.4. There's a notarized officer acknowledgement required, and additional items could be needed, and those are usually with making sure that is the authorized organization with the authority to transfer that block. For the recipient's got to provide documentation for their previous issued IPv4 address space, and then data to support their 24-month projected need, and a signed officer attestation certifying that the information in the request is accurate. There's a new transfer fee went into effect, I believe it was January 1st. Transfer fees are now lower. They used to be 500 and paid at the end. They're now 300 and paid up front. The transfer fee is waived for the source when the resources are under registration services plan, an RSP, which is normally your ISPs, but there are some end users that have decided they wanted to be under an RSP, and they pay those fees to be under that plan. And they're also waived for recipients of inter-RIR transfers. Ongoing fee, and then there's ongoing fees associated with that. Based on the published fee schedule. Your annual fees, what you have to pay based on how many resources you hold. Okay, how long does it take? It's a good question. We get asked this quite a bit. Some can be very quick, and some can drag on and on and on. What helps is when the registration is current and up to date, the customer does a quick turnaround on the officer acknowledgement, and when the recipient has already requested and been pre-approved for the size of the block that's within that transfer. Transfers that take longer to complete, it's the outdated records, it's when there has to be an 8.2 transfer done first before the 8.3 or 8.4 can be done. The inability to provide necessary documentation to support their claim to be the authorized organization for that block, and not all transfers get approved. Other useful transfer information. ARIN cannot provide detailed information to the two parties that are involved in the transfer if the recipient comes and says, what's going on? Why hasn't this been completed? I need those resources. All we're able to tell them is we're waiting on an action from your source. We can't go into any particulars. If you really need to know the details, you're gonna have to work with your source to find out. The same thing with if there's brokers, we can't share that information. Only if we've been given specific permission to discuss it with them, and then it's only for that side of the transfer that they're representing. We can't give them all the information about the whole transfer, only about the actual party that they're representing. And also, if you are on the IPv4 waiting list, you will be removed if you receive IPv4 addresses being specified through the specified transfer, regardless of block size. Pre-approval for recipients. This is an optional service that will help everything go much faster if you come in and get pre-approved and provide us the documentation up front that is required during the actual transfer process. And it eliminates the need to re-justify at the time of the transfer. It's valid for 24 months. However, if your needs have changed and you need a larger block, then you can certainly provide the documentation to re-justify for the larger block. Specified transfer listing service. It's an optional fee-based service. The pre-approval, I believe, is not a fee-based. It's there and free. But the specified transfer listing service is a fee-based service that facilitates specified recipients and the inter-RIR transfer. The sources list what they have available. Recipients say what they're looking for. Facilitators can arrange transfers between parties. The people that are on that list can see the details of the list. And there's also a public summary that's available for anybody else, but it won't have all those details on there. It'll just show the block sizes, the number of source organizations with their approved block sizes, and the list of facilitators with contact information. So some tips for faster transfer processing. It's all common sense, making sure that your registration information is current, up to date. We will go out of our way to help you to make sure that is done, because it's only going to make everything easier for everybody in the long run. On the recipient side, obtain the pre-approval. This way, you'll know what your approved block size is when you're out there looking for a source that can provide that for you. And again, it also allows for everybody to have a much more enjoyable and quicker experience when you get ready to submit that ticket. Like I said, there weren't any tricks. There was just tips. Even though, anyway, never mind. So for customer support on transfers, you can call the help desk anytime between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern time, and you can send in a ticket through ARIN online, or you can use Hostmaster at arin.net. That's the least preferred because there's no. Huh?
Who still uses email?
There's people that still. Hostmaster gets several hundred emails a month that they have to do. They get several thousand, but most of those are spam. But there is a couple hundred a month that are actual questions that we have to respond to. So that's it for that. Any questions? All right.
Thank you,
Jen?
John.